Hello and welcome back to episode 11 of the Mxgp 2021 career mode. We are off to Spain today for my Honda debut. So qualifying as usual was a bust. We were nowhere, seconds off the pace, down in P17. So we're straight into race 1. We still have the red plate, of course, and now that we're on the Honda, I don't know if I made a mistake leaving Husqvarna, to be honest, but we'll see in this race how I get on with it. But it seems to be a bit more like the Kawasaki, where I have a lot of rear grip issues. It just doesn't ride the bumps as well. But in race 1 here, we get an absolute beautiful start out of the gate, lovely and fast. But I made a mistake thinking that the track goes left there, which it doesn't. It goes left further up, and I end up getting T-boned by the other rider, so I went back to last. But we get a good little launch here, and we get back up to nearly P10. So, good launch, crash, and then we got a good restart again. So we're trying to just pick off positions. This track though gets incredibly difficult to ride as the race goes on. It just gets completely torn up, and maybe it's something to do with the Honda as well, but it became almost unrideable, especially in race 2. I had a very, very hard time riding this track. Certain corners are like completely glitched out where you pretty much nearly crash every time you go through it. It's so stupid. Big issue with the physics in this game. But so far, not too bad into P6. Unfortunately, we are a bit behind Jeopardizing. He is up the road. But for now, we're going to just see, can we get onto the back of the boys ahead of us. This corner here that I just had to cut back, it's just absolutely nightmare. Absolute nightmare. You can see now we're still P6. We have 2 laps to go in race 1. Bit of a mistake there, just catching the front wheel on the bottom. But pretty much lonely race in 6th. Pace was not good enough to go with the top guys, and we're kind of holding up riders behind us a small touch. And yeah, that's more issues again there. Like you see, Ruben Fernandez goes around the outside of me after I lose the rear, so I'm having a lot of rear grip issues. And again, you see there, it's just leaving go. I'm like 2 wheels sliding. It's really hard to ride this bike. And I don't know if I've made the right decision to leave Husqvarna, because as soon as we've gotten off the Husky now, I'm having issues just like I did with the Kawasaki. So only time will tell. And the only thing is, we don't have that big of a lead in the championship, so if we start shedding points to Jeopardizing, we could lose this championship. And I do know that the penultimate round in Italy, the track is horrendous. Like, look how slow we had to go through here on the last lap. Nearly walking pace just so we didn't come off the bike. It's going to be P6. Isn't a bad result. We didn't lose too many points, but at the same time, it's a bit worrying how bad this bike is, and I'm having an awful time on it. But we crossed the line now to start our final lap, and yeah, we've work to do with this. We have so much work to do. So it just seems to get affected a lot by random bumps, whereas the Husqvarna didn't seem to be affected as much. It did happen, but not as much. And this corner here, if you go into this line here, see I change the outside line. If you go to the inside, you just lose the front. And with the track not being reset between races, it's going to be a nightmare for race 2. I'm already struggling quite a bit in a pretty clean track in race 1. You can see how deep and like rough the ruts are, but they're just the way the game handles them. It's not really, you can't really get into them. The bike skips over them and just makes it more aggressive, and another huge moment there. And then again, lose the rear, so we're having a horrendous time. And the Honda behind as well of Ruben Fernandez has binned it, so maybe it's the Honda is a bit stiff for this track. I don't know yet. But yeah, I wasn't too happy riding this at the time, because I did feel like I was potentially, after throwing away the championship, moving to Honda. And then again, it's happened again. We've binned it. We jump on just ahead of Sander, and I think we should just about hold him off. Go defensive into the following corner, and again you just see fishtailing around. No rear grip on this CRF, which is quite hard to ride at the moment for me. So this Jeopardizing wins then as well, but this was the whole point of me leaving Husqvarna and going to Honda, was I wanted to see could I get a HRC contract in the Mxgp class. But at this point, I don't think I want one. I think I'd be better off sticking with a Husqvarna, KTM, or something else like that, because so far I've ridden Honda and Kawasaki, and they are a long way off. But P6 in race 1, it's not a horrific result, but beating winning, that's about 10 points dropped. Exactly 10 points dropped him, so that's a big chunk of my championship I've just lost to him. So we're going to need a strong result in race 2. So this time now we need to not make the mistake of turning left too early on the straight. It's a bit of a weird, you'll see it again here now, you mightn't have seen it at the start, but you'll see it in a second that there's like 2 lefts and I thought it was the first one. So we need to nail the start and get away clean. So let's see what we can do. Gates are up and we are off. Once again, beautiful launch. And you just see there where the UFO board, that looks where the track goes, but it doesn't. The track goes this way. So we get the whole shot this time. Now this time I want to see, can I lead from the front? If I can just hold my pace. Jägergert's in P3 on the YZF has hit the deck in the opening few corners. Not good for his championship challenge. So track is rutted to hell. It is really rough at the moment. Most of the track isn't too bad. It's just maybe 3 or 4 corners where you really are in a bit of a pickle riding around the track. So this part of the track here is pretty normal. Just like most tracks, a bit of a rutting and lining going on, but it's grand. It doesn't really affect the bike too much. But there's a certain right corner coming up in about 30 seconds or so. It's completely destroyed. So it's not this one here, it's the left-hander, it's the following left-hander. We've actually lost the lead momentarily with Viale. It's this one here, we go side by side, and we actually just lift him out of the berm, but he gets such good drive. We stick to the inside. Can we keep it? We just stay side by side. He gets good drive here, but he takes the inside line, and there's a bit of a kicker there, he has to go up it, we go around it, and we just hang on to the lead, thankfully. So a good start here, but we're under pressure from Viale, and Beaton is just in P3 watching, waiting. So we need a strong couple of laps now to build a gap. So there's a minute and a half left in this race, plus 2 laps. Beaton is in the lead. We had a small crash, but look who's crashed in front of us. Mr. Beaton. So we're going to put the pressure on him now and see, can we catch him. I really need to win this race. You can see now, all of a sudden, I've just started riding so much better that I see Beaton in front of me. The bike just feels so much nicer. I'm taking a lot more risks. Probably too much of a risk considering I've already bent it in both races. And yeah, we're not really catching Beaton. But Viale is right on the back and he might actually pass us and leapfrog us onto Beaton, which would probably be better for us if someone took points off Beaton. But Beaton has bended again in this little sector here that is broken. And now he's right in front of us. So when the AI keep crashing, you know the game is in trouble if the AI can't even stay on the bloody bike. But we're struggling. But he takes that kicker line. We go around the outside and we get a great drive up the last jump, and then over the line we go. We have 3 laps remaining. We're going to jump to the inside. Can we get across the inside? Give him a little tap. Quite defensive, but we managed to retake the lead for now. It'll be interesting to see if that's actually Van der Moosdijk, I think in P3, maybe P2 now, as Beaton looks to have been passed possibly, which would be good for me. I kind of need to take points back off him after his nice 10-point gain on me in race 1. And it is Van der Moosdijk in P2 now on the KXF 250. You see in here, look, like the ruts are just being killed. And what was going on there? My voice is broken, we got so shocked. Someone went in on their front wheel and been lifted up. I think it was by Jed. I made a mistake off track, and Jed once again is there waiting for that opportunity to jump up the inside. But we're just holding on. So this is going to be a big race for the championship, because I know the next round is going to be hell. And there's a final track in the calendar. I actually don't know where it is in the world, but it is a good one I do like. But with this Honda, I don't know how I'll get on. We're now on to the final lap, and we're still not even clear of the AI. They're still right on my back wheel. And again, look how slow I have to go through there. And Renoir actually bins it in that corner. So again, AI having a bad time through there. And Viale is up to P2. And we come now to the final jump. We're going to take our first victory for Honda. Are we? We just managed to hang on. That was an intense race, but we managed to get the win. Viale in P2. And Beaton is down P4, so we take back 9 points off him, which is pretty good. So we end up winning, or we lose 3 points to him overall, which isn't too bad after the race one. But a P2 in my first motor with the Honda isn't too bad. But going forward, I don't know how it's going to be. So, next up, it is Italy. This track here in Trentino is going to be hell. I've seen other YouTubers play it, and it was just broken in so many ways. So, I'm not looking forward to it. So, yeah. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you did, drop a like down below. Subscribe to see more. I shall catch you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.